been remembering to put the chat on. So anyone that joins us,
Yeah, that's good.
can do some commenting. I don't know if you want to. T's not here tonight. Hope you're feeling better, man. He likes to be our liaison with the commenters. It's hard to get through everything and also, see a bunch of people who are just breaking you down in every possible way. Just lots and lots
Brutal out there.
Just brutality. It's sweet. It's got a sweet flavor.
I haven't tasted it.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We're about to get started here in a second on the WCAC Spectacular. We're just doing some last-minute tune-ups.
Whichever one you want to pick there.
We'll go with that. All right. Wrote a song about it. Well, here it goes. Thanks for hanging out with us on another Tuesday night. Special night in the basement tonight. Not T, but Joe Murphy.
Joe Murphy.
Pride of St. John's, class of 95. Getting things started, putting us in a WCAC state of mind. Even
It's
wearing.
a good place to be.
It's always a good place to be.
Well, we replaced the first team all WCAC quarterback with the first team all WCAC tailback. We're not messing around here,
Nope.
Our second string is nobody's second string. Joe, thanks for being here, brother.
Oh, thank you for having me.
He's Kevin Ricka.
And I'm ecstatic to be back in here talking a little WCAC. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. These spring seasons are starting to come to a head, and we got some information on that for you here coming up shortly.
We do. I'm Ken Marangolo. This is the WCAC Spectacular. Thanks for giving us a watch. If you wouldn't mind terribly, subscription button for First Amendment Sports. We really appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. It's completely free. You get a little notification when we do these shows. You get notifications when we go live, which we will be doing on May 13th at University of Maryland for the boys and girls lacrosse finals. We haven't figured out any other live broadcast dates in and around that. We'll let people know, but we'll definitely be there for the finals. We have some awesome guests that we're going to have helping us bring the lacrosse finals to everybody. Go ahead and give it a subscription, and you make sure you get that notification. Let's get started with, and here, I'm in a T-shirt. We got shorts on. You feel that spring atmosphere.
Feels good.
Because I was just rewatching the football game, and I remember it being pretty cold that day. Very cold, actually. A long day, and here we are. We're going to be able to be outside watching, some lacrosse in what I'm assuming is going to be amazing weather. Let's cover a little bit of lacrosse out of the gate. I'll start with the girls. Bishop Ireton, class of the WCAC, from a girls lacrosse perspective, just having a knockout season. I believe they are undefeated, followed by Good Counsel and Holy Cross.
In conference.
Sorry.
Yeah, they've had a couple bumps in the road outside, but you know what? We're not here to talk about that.
We're not.
We're here to talk about the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference as it is, and they are kicking butt again.
I do think of things in terms of WCAC. Even in basketball and football, it's a little different because you get that one shot a week for a finite period of time. In basketball, I mean, shoot, you're playing teams out of conference. It seems like throughout the entire season, all the time. League play matters most. Ireton's destroying it. You got Good Counsel and Holy Cross on their heels. Paul VI and St. John's girls team are right there in the middle of the pack. St. Mary's Riken and Seton with a 2 and 3 wins respectively. Bishop McNamara and O'Connell scuffling in the WCAC so far this season, downstairs at 8 and 9. But what was it today? You had Ireton getting a piece of O'Connell. We'll be there on May 13th, pretty much expecting to see an Ireton or an Ireton and a Good Counsel. Maybe maybe Holy Cross sneaks in there.
Holy Cross.
Yeah, I know they're good.
Holy Cross Ireton played to a 9-7 final. Ireton came out on top, but I think that's a sign of things to come in the playoffs. It's going to be it's a little top heavy, sure, but anyone can win in the top out of those top 4, I think.
Holy Cross and Paul VI. I mean, 3 wins each. St. John's has 3 wins. The girls' team. I mean, winning it all. Picking up wins against league opponents, that's absolutely an indicator as far as the playoffs are concerned. We've seen that in all the sports we've covered in the WCAC so far, especially the ones that we've been able and privileged enough. Thank you, Steve Colantoni, to be on site and broadcasting. Is that it ain't always the team you think is going to be there in the end. There in the end.
It ain't never be.
It might ain't never be.
Sorry, I did graduate from St. John's. I just, that's just the way I'm feeling in my gut. It's not. It's not. We watched St. John's knock off DeMatha. In basketball, we watched Gonzaga knock off everyone in football. And, Gonzaga's 1 second away from being 1-4. And now they're, they went viral and have the coach of the year nationwide, because we set the bar around here for everyone else in the country. And it's not just in women's lacrosse, but in softball as well. We have one of the premier powerhouse programs in the nation. A
lot of talent. Around the salt. As a Southern Maryland guy, I don't have to say it every single time. It's in my blood.
You've said it every single time.
So, but I have to. Sometimes I have to say I don't have to.
Just keep telling yourself. That's fair. As long as you're honest with yourself about it.
It's part of me. I love it. O'Connell and St. Mary's Riken are having a great season with 11 wins each. The Bishop McNamara Lady Mustangs are absolutely performing at a very high level.
Michaela Marbury. No hitters. They're just no hitting people left and right. They got St. John's last week. McNamara is going to be a force, but you see that 2-2 score. That game got canceled for lightning, and St. Mary's Riken wanted to prove that first win over O'Connell was no fluke. That's two teams that I don't think we want to get our finest softball playing friends and go show up in a sandlot against. No chance.
No way.
No chance. No chance.
Someone's liable to get hurt, Kevin.
And it would be me.
Yes.
It would be me in some capacity.
First Amendment Sports doesn't have that kind of insurance. I mean, we can't put ourselves in that kind of position.
Have you seen the pitching in this conference? No one wants to stand in that batter's box. Get out of here.
I would be Trey Turnering it all day, breaking every finger trying to just put the ball down.
Hey, we're sitting there at the beach, and some of the ladies are playing a little catch and letting that fly. We might talk a little trash, but trust me, we don't want any of that smoke. We want nothing. It's like the young Russian versus Ovechkin last night. We don't want that smoke.
We're coming down the stretch for softball, and I want to know where they play. Even if we can't bring it, I might want to attend it.
It's at Holy Cross, right here in Kensington, Maryland.
Holy Cross is hosting the championship.
Yes, they are.
Softball championship.
I mean, just a hop, skip, and a jump.
That's I mean, for Joe, it's a couple hops and a skip, but for you and I, we need the jump.
Well, we have to hop on over to Continental before we head down to the Holy Cross parking lot.
Yeah,
because you don't show up for a sporting event in Kensington without those fries in a bag. I mean, let's be honest. And it's got to be a $40 order, right, Joe?
It has to be. Those are the best. Pizza and subs.
When you catch your buddy walking out of Continental with his daughter, and you're on the street, and you reach out and you take a picture, and then you text him, "That's a $40 order," and he responds back, "It was exactly $40, some change." But yeah, you can tell by the size of the bag. We know. You smell through the bag,
It's weigh
baby.
and pay. Yep. Continental is weigh and pay. It's all you need to. You get your money's worth from a weight perspective. Absolutely. So softball's coming down the stretch. Paul VI has 8 classy wins. Seton, St. John's, Good Counsel, Holy Cross, Ireton. Everybody has at least a win. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't go so far as to say top heavy, but again, going down the stretch, there's 3 or 4 teams, probably 3. O'Connell, St. Mary's Riken, and McNamara that you're penciling in for contenders for that final game. We will not miss that, and as we get closer to that, that's right down the street. Maybe we might try to figure out a way to. We got to get over there. I got to get over there. That's right down the street. St. Mary's Riken and Seton. O'Connell, Holy Cross, which is is that not happening today? Good Counsel and Ireton is.
Yeah. Well, listen, we'll just call up Neil Owens, a good friend of everyone in the building, and he's the head coach over there at Holy Cross, doing a great job and really starting to get that young talent put together. He's got a really young squad this year, and I know they're putting a softball night together for all the local people and kids in the area to come take a peek at their facility, which is top notch.
Where's this?
At Holy Cross.
At Holy Cross.
At Holy Cross.
Hop, skip, and jump.
And he's hosting the championship finals. I think we know a guy that can get us some pretty decent seats to the event.
Do they have the Tim Strachan, memorial press box on the side there where we can? I mean, everything has his name on it in this town.
It does, and I'm certain there's something there with his name on it, and it's probably
the concession stand.
Probably
maybe
a tree I carved something rude into years ago. But you know what we do? Hey, We miss you tonight, T.
Yeah.
I know T would definitely sign off on his replacement this evening. You know, that's it's a top-notch scenario.
He'd hand the ball off to this guy if he had the chance.
Yeah, but you know what? He has been feeling ill for the last couple weeks, and we hope to get you back here. We miss you on a Tuesday, my man. And you know what? I think T should drive us on over to this championship event in a couple weeks. You know,
that's a great idea.
He owes a little Continental. I know that much.
That's a plan coming together.
Hey, Strachan's always repay their debts, from what I understand.
See, now you're not going to bait me. You know what happens. This whole show turns into Game of Thrones, but I won't let it.
The night is young, Ken. The night is young.
I would love, and I don't want to hear the words I know you will say afterwards, but you're not going to say it. I think if we got to get Neil, anyone watching out there on the WCAC Spectacular, since it's right down the street, and he's got this awesome facility, let's do a First Amendment sports softball game and barbecue in the next couple months. All we need is what? 17, 18 people, minimum to play a game is 18. I mean, if we can get a couple subs on each side, have a nice day of it, maybe put a little video highlight reel together, do some interviews with some. I mean, come on.
Joe Murphy's already proven he's got third base coach locked down.
Co-ed. This isn't about just a bunch of dudes. I think we should focus on co-ed, get some families involved. Let Neil know. Are we talking to Neil right now? I think we have to be talking to Neil right now.
Well, we're going to send this to him tonight via social media. Yes. But I might have to dust off the old.
Yeah, because you always say, "Oh, I'm retired."
No, the 2007 co-ed Maryland State champions. You know, they reside, a majority of them, right here in the city. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, a lot of WCAC athletes on that squad.
Maybe we do like a Globetrotters general situation where we just get like an all-star WCAC team to just kick our ass. On the diamond.
Listen, as long as there's arc on the ball, I'm not standing in facing one of these young ladies throwing just fire rise balls at
Although they should be allowed to throw one per inning whenever they want at their discretion.
That's fine.
That helps.
And at least one has to be a beanball, just straight at somebody. I mean, you could dodge, and they can't come back at you.
I'm a big fan of house rules. We'll let Neil Owens put the final. Dot the I's and cross the T's on this one.
Us Kensington folk have to stick together. Is that considered? That's not considered Kensington address, is it?
Oh,
Garrett
yes,
Park?
it is. 100%. I keep trying to tell you. Yep. I know there's a lot of people pining away for Garrett Park, but that is a Kensington.
I love the fact that it's a Kensington address. I didn't know that. I was sure that it was a Garrett Park or some like North Garrett Park or whatever. However,
my mother, Therese Ricca, a Holy Cross alum. Holy Redeemer alum, Kensington through and through. Yep. She wasn't going outside of city limits, much like the Strachan family. You don't see them. You know, have you ever seen them start to fade away, like Back to the Future style, when they're outside of Kensington for too long?
Yes,
it happens. Now they get a free pass into Bethesda. I know that, but that's only for like 24 to 48 hour time spans.
Enchantment under the sea dance. Yeah, George McFly's got to make his move to save the day.
All right, well.
Who's wearing the Mickey Mouse
T-shirt? You take your damn hands off of her. And let me get into this.
All right, so let's move over. Message has been the First Women's Sports Softball event has been suggested.
Listen, spring has sprung over on Military Road. I know two of us at the table are certainly proud about that, but you know, it's just in the numbers right here.
Because I'm proud.
I know you are too. I'm just saying. You got to wear that scarlet and gray, and then you got to rub off a little of that maroon and gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, man. The cadets, you know, they've won 5 straight. Mark Gibbs has got the boys running at it again.
Congratulations, Coach.
Awesome article in the Washington Post on Ed Gibbs, Kevin Gibbs, and Mark Gibbs, a baseball family of class human beings through and through. Awesome read. If you haven't checked it out, take a peek at that. A well-deserved article. They knocked it out of the park, and those guys have been doing it for forever. And the last 5 years on top of the mountain. And right now, find themselves right back on top. St. John's is 8-0 in first place in the WCAC. And a lot of these scores, man, you know, they've had one game within 3 runs, 4 runs in the second game, and everything else has been in 6 to 14 run differential. You know, they're doing it in style.
Yep.
And with pitching, ridiculous hitting, and attention to detail, they just don't make mistakes. This team, you know, they will wear you down. They are in first place at 8-0, like I said, and rolling. You got Gonzaga coming on strong here at 6-2, holding down second place. DeMatha right there behind them, tied with O'Connell for third at 5-2. The McNamara Mustangs, you know, they're having a heck of a spring over there in Forestville as well, especially with the softball and baseball squads right now. They are 6-3 with some big time wins. You know, they've gotten tripped up in a couple of times recently here with teams I think that they know They probably should have been better then, but that's baseball. It's what it is. When you get a big win over a big team, you got to come back down to earth and take care of business. And I think they will do that. At 6-3, they can beat anyone on any given day.
Yeah, they're the team that I feel like they're sound, and they're probably hoping that when it comes time to gut check time late in the season in those games that they got to have, if they can line up their best guy, and they got to Quench has thrown that no hitter. Already, in the season, if they can line up the pitcher for the right day deep. I think that's a headline that could absolutely happen. And it would be a big deal for the Mustangs because the class of the league for baseball, the Gibbs family and Coach Gibbs. I mean, I'm looking for. I mean, I think that it won't be long before we are able and in position to start putting games out from the Gibbs press box, Gibbs baseball press box, which is an awesome spot.
Yes, it is.
It is.
It treated us well for the football season.
Yes, it
too.
did.
It's quite a facility. You got Paul VI and St. Mary's Riken, both with 4 wins each, with Ireton with 3, Good Counsel with 1, and the Heights rounding it up, still trying to get their first one. First time in the league. You give them some time. They're going to be all right. But baseball, I think they got 5 or 6 more league games left, essentially everyone. They're split up into a couple divisions. You play everyone once, and then the guys in your division twice. You got St. John's, Gonzaga, DeMatha, Good Counsel, and the Heights on one side. Then you got the Virginia squads with O'Connell, Paul VI, Ireton, partnered up with McNamara and St. Mary's Riken on the other. And those are where you get your double games in. You're not playing everyone twice. And they're going to head into the postseason in about 2.5 weeks here. And it's time for some of the guys to start saving their arms a tad bit and starting to line up some pitching possibilities.
That's right.
And the hardest thing to do as a high school baseball coach is you cannot predict the weather. And you're trying to save arms to get guys in the right places. Pitching depth is of the utmost importance on both sides in softball and baseball. And that's certainly the case moving in there to the rest of the season. Looks like St. John's might be the 1 seed, and we'll see what follows.
How's our boy doing, Wood from St. John's?
He's been fantastic.
Yeah,
he's getting everyone's eye. He's going to be a big time baller, and we were told that by a big time baller. And who are we not to listen?
We were told that by a big time baller. He's watched this guy, so we did. We watched him. Joe, we're our first boys WCAC broadcast was St. John's DeMatha varsity towards the end of the season. So we're there. We get there super early to set up. School's letting out. We're in the gym. The St. John's DeMatha JV game was being played, of course, after the freshman game. They had a freshman game and then a JV game, all been played beforehand. We watched the JV game. I'm telling you, first of all, in warm-ups, the dunk line in warm-ups for the JV game was disgusting. And so we're like, oh, my God. In the game, it was awesome. I mean, it was a high-level, fun basketball game to watch, and it was St. John's DeMatha appetizer. And James Wood, and it's not. I always want to say James Woods, but it's James Wood, right?
Yeah, don't be putting S's on me here.
Right,
this is your conversation.
Sure. He's gigantic. He had 2 dunks, probably in the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game, like baseline. Pass to the baseline, over top of at least one guy, dunks. Power dunks, not just I'm bigger than some random kid, and I'm going to dunk on him. And now that's not even the sport that he dominates. He's 6'5", and he roughly 6'5". He comes out and just blows them away.
I know I'm showing my age here, but he's Dave Winfield. It's like that guy was drafted in all 3 major sports. By the way, Dave Winfield. Yeah. What a ridiculous freak of a baseball player. But when you see how broad his shoulders are and how long his arms, and you just picture him throwing a baseball and hitting one, it doesn't make any sense, but it also makes perfect sense. And he's going to be doing that at a high level. A lot of people have huge hopes for him moving forward.
I say, Joe, I hope you come back, even if T's in that spot, or maybe we go somewhere and we
I'll
do it.
sit on his lap. That's
all right.
I think he'll approve of that.
I think he would have no other
way.
way.
Very confident in this, and I can't wait to hear back from Tim Strachan on this topic.
I think we can get that in writing without any problem.
All right.
At the end of the season, talking about the great players, that we've gotten to watch this year, and who to keep your eye on. One of the things we talk about it, we've tried to follow our guys from college to pro because there's tons of them, and I just want to make sure that on this show that we make a point to say James Wood, a sophomore baseball star who played, and a hell of a basketball player at St. John's. Just another guy. We're going to always think about DeMarco Helms, and John Marshall, and some of these other names that we've gotten a chance to see, and I'm not just trying
Raheem
to.
Jarrett.
What's that?
Raheem Jarrett. Rakim.
Without a doubt, yeah, Rakim was going to say Rakim.
Sorry.
But just some of the guys who are even graduating, this year and moving on to the next level that we know, Casey Morcell, that we know we're going to see on TV, on ESPN, and probably in a professional setting. And I think the underclassmen, and two of them happen to be at St. John's with AZ Fudd, and I think James Wood. I do think he's a next level guy, and I want to make sure people don't miss out on the opportunity to at least just tap in and follow a little bit. Just a real big time athlete who probably will make everybody in this conference crazy proud.
Yeah. Well, as another alum to another alum, Rakim, Jarrett, and MJ Sherman, better put them on the list too. Listen,
without a doubt, the big list. I want to do that as a show. I want to have a whole show where we
Sure.
just do that.
Well, St. John's is getting some love here tonight, but it's been well-deserved and well-earned, and we haven't hit them up really this much in baseball, and certainly not in lacrosse.
Let's talk about that.
And I had quite an experience today. I'm going to put Coach Wes Speaks, St. John's head lacrosse coach, on the list of just top grade A class act coaches willing to
First
share
team
their
all nice?
time. First team all nice for First Amendment sports. From the time I sent the text to the time he got back to me with the phone call was like less than 5.7 seconds. Just a
Good man.
professional, just ready and willing to share his time with me, which we all know. You have a job here, you're coaching here, and then you got some fathead calling you asking you about stats and what's going on. And he couldn't have been more gracious. Well, I meant us, and I was the particular fathead in this scenario.
But you're associating.
Look, Coach Wes Speaks was awesome. His assistant, one of my favorite guys on planet Earth, Patty Halley, also ready, willing, and able to share his time today. I had a great time talking to them. They're in love with this team. If you hear them talk about these kids, they just really love what's going on. Certainly ecstatic about their freshman class. I'm just talking about the state of the program right now. They love what's going on. And the freshman class is one thing, but they find themselves in an 8-game WCAC schedule at 7-0 right now with one game left against that purple squad. That I'm speaking about them right now. Gonzaga, who's been on top of the mountain for 7 of the last 8 years.
Tip of the cap to Casey O'Neill.
Casey O'Neill runs a tremendous program. I think Coach Speaks and Casey go back. And listen, St. John snuck one out 2 years ago. The year before last, they came in and won their first WCAC lacrosse title and ended a 7-year run for Gonzaga. Gonzaga went and took it back this past year. Now you're looking at both these teams right now, undefeated in league play, and it's a little bit of an unbalanced schedule. St. John's has got 7 wins as of right now, and Gonzaga going into this afternoon is 4-0. Not to say they're not going to get there. It's just the way the schedule works out. They play their league games later in the season, obviously. But, DeMatha is always right there in the mix. They came out of the gate swinging at 4-0. They're now at 4-1. Paul VI, who's been knocking on the door in the semifinals and the championship for the last few years, looking to get one. They've got one about 3 years ago. They're looking to get another one this year. Those guys are dangerous. These games are all nip and tuck. They come down to the wire. But let me get back to the St. John's squad right now, who's on top at 7-0 in the league. Coach Speaks was talking extremely highly about junior Georgetown commit TJ Halley. Many coaches in this area and a few I've spoken with myself consider him to be the premier prospect in one of the most lacrosse talent-rich areas in the nation. And they're talking about the East Coast, not just around here. He's leading the team. He's the point leader with 64 points. Coach Speaks describes him as the quarterback / point guard of the offense. Ball's in his hand. The right play is he's asked to make the reads, make the right calls, make the right plays, distribute, and score, and he's done a heck of a job doing it. He's a tremendous ball handler and a freakish athlete, and he's only a junior. He's got another year left. He has committed to Georgetown, and that's a big deal over there on the Hill in D.C. They're super lucky to get a guy like that. Dane Hall, a midfielder leading the middies in points with 52 points. Now, they've only played 11 games, guys. So we're talking about TJ Halley almost getting 6 points a game. Dane Hall at 52 points is a tremendous talent. Coach Speaks loves young Quentin Young. He said he's his MVP. He's the guy that you ask to do anything. He is. I said in basketball we'll call him baking soda. We'll come up with our own thing in lacrosse. That's Darren's deal. But a guy that does everything for a coach. Yeah, I know. We do. We have time. Yeah. Because it ain't May 13th last time I checked the calendar. No, we need to be ready. I know. We need to be ready. But he's the first on the team in ground balls. He's a stud for them. He does everything asked. Extra man on. He's all over the place. super stud talent in Quentin Young. They've won 7 in a row. Like I said, their freshman class is stacked. Mac Halley, another guy that I had to throw out there, just a tough nut. What a superior competitor. Now, you know what we love?
Do they go Fogo?
I don't want to do Fogo. I don't want to. Go ahead.
That guy
Do
gets
your Fogo.
paid.
Do your Fogo.
That guy gets a full scholarship.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just saying, it's a real job.
Yes. I didn't say Fogo to coach, but you know what he did tell me?
What?
One thing we do, 2 things we love around here. We love our service academy commitments. That's one. We also love our multiple sport athletes.
Oh, that's our whole show. Those are our 2.
And I'm going to hit you with 2 of them right now. That's what I said.
He just did our show.
I love it. I love it. George Alvarez, goalie for the Cadets, kicker for the Cadets, made a ton of big kicks last year on that.
Say the name again?
George Alvarez.
That's right.
On that national schedule that they played, he was put into tremendous pressure-packed situations, but he's already committed to Navy as a goalie. He's only a junior. He'll be back kicking field goals and saving shots again for the Cadets next year.
Navy Lacrosse is top-notch.
He's a stud. He is the defensive QB. He runs the D. He's very vocal, of course. He's going to be a leader at Navy. He's a team favorite. The kids love him. He's doing a heck of a job. George Alvarez, undefeated in goal for the Cadets so far this season. And Alan Long, a senior captain who also plays hockey. So you know he's going to get down and dirty. He's a physical middie. They love how he plays on both sides of the field for them.
A lot of girth.
The kids love him. He's a two-way guy that they love. He's tough. He's an Air Force commit, and I know that's your spot, right?
No. Navy is.
Okay,
Navy is.
all right.
Air Force is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Air Force Academy, but I'm an Annapolis guy. Lacrosse is an Annapolis sport, and in the Pentagon, like at the highest levels of the Pentagon, they understand that the Naval Academy has to be good at lacrosse because they're in Annapolis, and they for years now.
So that's why they brought Belichick in, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
There's
Trust
deals
me.
being done that.
Federal dollars are being spent to ensure that the cradle of lacrosse, which is the Chesapeake Bay, which is where I grew up, is dominant and awesome that they're getting the St. John's guy.
Yeah,
I like the hockey athlete too because hockey athletes are usually they're just thick and
heavy.
strong and absolutely. So that's great and service academies. They make their bones on those athletes.
And as we all know, a St. John's cadet is a young man or woman of honor and integrity. And that's something that we were taught had to be every single day. Obviously, George Alvarez and Alan Long have done this. I want to thank Coach Wes Speaks, Patty Haley, and hey, good luck to all the teams out there.
He'll be joining Marshall there, right? So he's a year. He's a year behind John Marshall.
The next year, and you know what? They'll be joined together in the Navy versus Army ridiculous best rivalry in the country after leaving the best high school rivalry in the country when they were on other sides of the coin. Very interesting how this happens at the WCAC.
That's right.
That's what we preach around here. Guys that you didn't think you'd ever be friends with, all of a sudden you're on the same side, on the same sidelines as for 4 more years. It totally changes things. Allegiances switch. You never give up on that one. I know that, but
be a great SEAL team, Alvarez and Marshall. I don't know. I can't.
Right. As Alan Long flies by.
Yes, and with Tom Collins.
Hey man, DC
from McNamara.
The WCAC does this. This is what we
Yes,
do.
they do.
I look forward to seeing all of these late season runs unfold. See how it turns out. See how the seedings turn out, and we can't wait to keep an eye on it and get some videotape on most of it.
We have an action item list. We have homework, Joe. So don't worry. I would say write it down. Just rewatch it later.
It's like elementary
like
level.
You do.
Good.
You just put yourself. You watch it first, then you go to, but then you play it kind of like as you're falling asleep. Is my understanding, and then it's the first thing you see the next morning when you wake up, obviously in the shower. I think that we have to remember. We got to get over to Holy Cross for that softball final. We got to figure that out. Even if we're just as spectators,
T's picking this up with Continental next.
T's with picking us Continental. That plan is. We have to the First Amendment Sports Softball Spectacular. That also a Holy Cross event since the WCAC does exist in town.
Let's put a pin in that one.
We're gonna put a pin in that one.
Oh, we still doing this? We're live.
Yeah, we're live.
All right, cool.
This is our action. This is our homework. We're back to school and continue to remind everybody about WCAC night on behalf of Steve Colantoni and the conference at Nats Park on June 20th. Sign up online. I think you tell them what school you go to and you get an awesome hat. It's in your school's colors with your high school logo here and the Nats logo here. So please, if you haven't already gotten that link, we'll figure out a way. We'll tweet it out. this week. I don't think Steve had that all set up just quite yet. I mean, it's still April, for goodness sakes, guys. I mean, give me some time. We're going to get on this. Don't worry. We're going to be there. There's a chance we're working out the details with Masson, which is to say they're just going to give us a thumbs up or thumbs down. We were going to do this show in the concourse at Nationals Park before the game starts, if they let us. So it remains to be seen. But we think there's going to be some awesome people in attendance. We have asked the question. They are considering it. And
do you think the learners are watching? Maybe.
I'm sure they are.
Might help.
I mean, it's on. I'd be shocked if we weren't on in their skybox. I mean, the game's happening right now, but they have multiple televisions. What else are they watching?
Hey,
the Game of Thrones is on Sunday.
That's true. That's true.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying they should be, because we got the most talent of anyone, boys and girls, of anyone in the nation. We have unbelievable young leaders coming up through this program that we call the WCAC that we all love so much. Can't wait to get the tip of the hat at Nats Park.
That's gonna be great.
With all the WCAC rival hats on. But that hat keeps us all together,
It
brings
does.
us all together. And we have our factions, yes, we do. But in the spirit of competition, we have got the most competitive, well-rounded student athletes of anyone. And I'll stick to that. And I know that through life experience 30 years past. And that's what it is. That's why we're all here again, fellas. And we love doing what we do. So good luck to all these young men and women
That's right.
for the rest of the season. Stay healthy.
Stay healthy and have fun. Softball, lacrosse,
fun.
baseball, all the tennis players, the golf players. And I know I'm missing. I know I'm always missing somebody. But enjoy yourselves. At the end of the day, be proud of the fact that you put on one of these uniforms. It's awesome, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate all the coaches, and we especially appreciate all the parents who get these kids, all over the place for the duration of their high school careers and growing up. So that's what this is all about. The family atmosphere, family environment doesn't get done without family. And we're proud to have a member of our family joining us this evening. Joe Murphy, thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me. Yep, good times.
He's Kevin Ricca.
Yeah, I want to definitely give another shout out to the St. John's lacrosse coaching staff, essentially Wes Speaks and Patty Halley. Thanks for being class act individuals. Thanks for joining us on our journey to put a spotlight on the WCAC student athlete. And until next week, be a good sport.
We will be back here next Tuesday night. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo, and this was the WCAC Spectacular. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah. How long did that go?